You've done the therapy. Maybe you've been in an abusive relationship. Maybe you've been abused by your parents. Maybe you've been going through other type of trauma and you've been working on it, working on it, working on it. You understand all the patterns, but it's still playing in the background. So in this video, I'm going to explain you how, to me, I basically go to the root of this problem and help people go to the root so they don't come back anymore. So they are understood, digested, cleared, and transformed into power. So we all do a lot of work, and there's a lot of great modalities and of great therapists. These therapies help us access deeply the level of the mind, the level of the heart to an extent, and a little bit the level of the body and the energetic level, a little bit. Sometimes you can get lucky and hit there, but that's really like sometimes. So what's happening when you understand? I'm going to give an example. Now with my ex partner, it's been an abusive relationship. It has like literally bring me down to to the ground. It was after my 3 years in silence. I thought I was indestructible. I was very connected to God. I have complete faith in life, in myself. I was joyful. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of students. I was in heaven, for a few years, and I got taken down. So for me, I was already working at the energetic level. I was mainly trying to understand, what was happening. And so I had to learn about narcissism, how that was working. I understood basically there was a certain void, that this person wanted to feel. And getting that energy, I could understand it really well. I understand that me also, I was projecting certain things. I had a certain void, despite all the work I did, that I needed to feel. Great. I was feeling better. I was feeling less a victim. I understand more also about victimhood, and transmuted like a victimhood into mastery, all of this. But I was still playing. And what really helped me, and it's been recent, and it's been through several iterations, it's to go at the root of it, to really go at the root of it energetically. And so recently, I decided I was done with this. Why do I have this self-doubt keep playing? I've been having brain fog. I've been having difficulty to make practical decisions. I've been doubting myself, because I'm usually somebody pretty confident. And no matter what I do, no matter how I regulate my food, how I regulate my sleep, how I regulate my life, how I balance everything, it will still be there. So first, what I do, I ask from the bottom of my heart to God, to the universe, to myself, I want to clear this. I want to get back. It's not even about what I want to clear. I want to get back my full power, my full certainty, my full joy, my full confidence, my full love. That's a very, very strong intention. And then what I do, I go to the root. I use a technique called the double vortex, which help you activate your energy counterclockwise and basically clear all the distortion, all the distraction until you reach a place of silence, of stillness. When you reach that place of stillness, you're not asking anymore, you're not trying anymore, you start settling into your deeper power, into your true soul, your essence, the 0-point energy field. And from there, I look at what's been happening there, what's really been happening. And often it comes really quick. I remember that moment when she introduced the doubt without myself. I was too confident. I was too lazy. I had forgotten to look at darkness or different things like that. She hit it at certain point that was actually true, not the excess of confidence, but other points. But I took it on. I began to give my power away. And so what I saw was that self-doubt that was introduced, that I fought for years to basically destroy and take confidence, was replacing what? I look at the spectrum. What's the opposite of self-doubt? It's about the self, so the opposite is the collective. About doubt, the opposite is certainty. So I go on the other side of the polarity of the self-doubt, and what do I see? Faith in life, faith in God. At that time, that's what I had. I had so much faith in God. That's what this person wanted, because I was the happiest. So when I'm looking there, I say, oh, this is really what I want now, because I'm not even able to know exactly what I want anymore, because I'm cloudy, I'm not free. When I feel that, when I really feel it from the field, it becomes like a certainty. So it's not anymore about clearing the doubt, about clearing the imprints, the toxicities, that have been inserting into me. It's about now bringing back that energy that I know very well, because that's my birthright. I lost it, I got it back. I lost it again, I'm gonna get it back again. And so when I bring this energy back, when I bring it, it's like feeling me. It's like feeling me, and I feel so happy, and I feel so happy. And I don't need to talk or to think about the detail anymore. I don't need to think about the adversary, what problem it is, who's responsible. I can just focus. I can just focus on my light, on my joy, and bring it back. So this process, and once you have accessed it, then you can go clockwise and you can reprogram all the things you want in your life. Once you enter that space, the 0 point energy space, you can access. It's called the double vortex. And I've been applying it, not just to myself, but to many, many students, friends, clients, and been working at all levels for all these people. It's been helping people remove psychological trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma, chronic diseases, like herpes, like Crohn's disease, cancer, like neuropathy, many, many different things, bipolarity. And I'm going to give you another example that for me has been striking. Someone from South America, an amazing being, in Los Angeles, who was struggling with addictions. He was partying, he was drinking, he was smoking, he was taking drugs. His family was falling apart. He just had a baby. He would have a lot of anger also, and aggressivity. And so we used the vortex, to him. I could see he was a very good soul. He was just struggling with something he couldn't understand. I don't even know what it was, but we used the vortex, like to go together. And so he went, and he could see basically that was his dad, who was a very influential person in South America, and with a lot of very controlling, very basically even abusive, and never validating him, never accepting him, never giving him confidence. So he was trying everything, to get love, to get to be seen, to get that, and that anger of not being loved was like exploding. So these are words, but once he could really experience that, when he could really experience the energy of his dad, the soul of his dad, how it was playing in his own field, not just words, not just concepts, energetically. When he could clear this energy and feel the love coming back, the self-love coming back to himself, everything fall back into balance. He restored his relationship with his wife. They were literally about to break up. Their psychologists at the time, who seemed to be a great person, told them, "I'm sorry, I cannot do anything for you. It's too toxic. You should separate. It's not good anymore." And he was right to think that, but he couldn't access, a deeper level, which was basically the energetic level, knowing that this being, indeed, sometimes they're not supposed to be together. Sometimes you better leave, but sometimes there's still work that can be done. It's not always the same. And you need to be able to discern that. In their cases, they are very well assorted. Just something was really playing against each other. So now they're back together. They had a second baby. They told me they're going to have a third one now. He's back in his business. He's flourishing. He's back to his art center. She opened a new business also, stress-free. Everything's been changing. And this is the case of many people, not just a few lucky ones, basically, who are doing this work. So I'm really inviting you to explore the double vortex. You can download it for free. It's in the captions there. Practice it, not just once, practice it, daily. I really suggest to people to do it 3 times a day. You do it in the morning when you wake up. You can plug it with any meditation or movement or breath work you're doing. You do it at lunch to reset your energy level, and you do it in the evening, like to program your sleep and your next days or your next week. And if you take the habit to program yourself with this energy, you're going to do it from the 0 point, from source, not from your ego. You're going to see quick results, manifesting into your life. You're going to feel more peace. You're going to feel more clarity, with your guidance. You're going to feel more ease. You're going to feel more synchronicities and alignment happening in your life. So I'm very curious to know how it's going to be working for you. And please comment below to let me know what are your breakthrough, what are your struggle. We're always very curious.